Yo, welcome back to the People's Channel with the People Champ. So today I'm just going to go through and maybe give some thoughts, but I'm going to go through all the champions that I used for the Wheel of Fate. This is not a guide or anything of that nature. I've just been asked a couple times to show who I used in fights. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so for this first fight in Quest 1, I used Spider-Punk against Gore. Side note, I boosted up the whole time for each quest, and also I'm running Recoil Masteries. And I ran them for all but 2 fights at the end of Quest 3, but I'll get into that when I get there. So, yeah, so my damage was, let's look at it real quick. My damage, my attack is going to be far higher than a lot of people because people don't run recoils. But yeah, so as you can see, even without any boost on, I don't have any boost on right now. My Spider-Punk is rank 3 and his attack is 10k. So just keep that in mind when I go through this and I tell you who I used. But yeah, all right, so I used Spider-Punk for Gore against Dazzler. I used America Chavez. Against Lady Deathstrike, I used Nova. Nova made this fight really doable because he has armor breaks with his second mediums. A lot of these other champs don't have armor breaks. Yeah, and that's the key to the fight. I think this is probably the worst fight I've seen people complain about because of how long it is. But if you take her armor down and you take her nanobots out with the intercept and then throw your specials, they can do a lot of damage. The problem is, of these options, not too many champions have armor break in their kit. Yeah, Corvus does, Iron Man, and Nova do. So, but yeah, I get the complaint on this fight. This fight would have been pretty bad if I didn't use Nova. So yeah, all right. Against Enchantress, I used Onslaught. It's an easy fight. Against Thor Rags, I used, who did I use against Thor Rags? I think I used Null. Yeah, I used Null because Null has good reach on his light attack, so I was getting intercepts pretty easy. Yeah. So, yeah, I used Null. And then for Arcade, I used Dark Phoenix. Against Leader, I used Mantis. Again, I had my recoils on. I just stayed close to him. She did a lot of damage really fast. Against Bullseye, I used Mr. Sinister right here. Against Torch, I used Silk. Spoiler, yes, I got Spider-Woman from my rewards opening. So there you go. Against Serpent, I used Spiral. Against Spiral, I used Future Ant-Man. Against Dust, I used Ironheart. And then against Boss Thanos in Quest 1, I used Jean Grey. So that's Quest 1. Let's move on to Quest 2. See if I remember what these tags are. I think this first tag is medium and defensive utility. Let's see if my memory serves me correctly. Defensive utility. Yeah, that's it. And against the first Gore in Quest 2, I used Void. If your Void is awakened, the fight is really easy, and mine's only rank 1 on top of that. I think the only other solid option here, since Gore is bleed immune, is Wong, but that takes a while. A lot of people have Wong already, though, because they did the Karina challenge. So, but yeah, Wong is the only other good option, in my opinion, here against this Gore. But I used Void and just was hoping the RNG propped petrifies. But yeah, I got it down a few revives. All right, against Dazzler, I used Spider-Punk. Yes, I used Spider-Punk, and that fight was really fun. I really love Spider-Punk. But yes, Spider-Punk made that fight really fun, really easy. Maybe I'll do some gameplay. Well, I didn't record, so I didn't record my fights when I was doing them. I just was focused on finishing the Wheel of Fate. Maybe I'll go back in and redo it, just to not redo the whole thing, but redo some fights just to show people, what I actually did. All right. Anyways, against Lady Deathstrike, I used where's she at? I used Medusa. Medusa has armor break on her mediums and good range to intercept and auto block in her kit. So I took advantage of all of that, managed my power through specials. She did a lot of damage really fast, made the fight really easy. Against Enchantress, I used Hulk. If you're going to use Hulk, I advise you to go to your SP3. Does a lot of damage really fast. Just learn how to evade Enchantress Special 1. Against, who is this? Thor Rags, I use Mortal. Mortal, if he gets parried, he astral evades. So I took advantage of that and just threw SP3s. Pretty fun fight, interesting fight with the brace on Thor Rags. Against Arcade, I used Werewolf by Night. It's a fun fight. Against the leader, I used Photon. My rank 4 Photon. Oh my gosh, yeah. He went crazy on the leader. Against Bullseye, I used Dazzler. Real easy fight, no big deal. Against Torch, I used Hulk, Immortal Hulk. I just threw a bunch of revives. Not a bunch, but a few revives and went for the nuke. Since I had already used Hulk, I didn't really like the other options I had. So yeah, I probably should have went with I-Bomb, looking back. But yeah, I went with I-Hulk. Against Serpent, I used America Chavez. Against Spiral, I used Luke Cage. Against Dust, I used Jean Grey. And then against Thanos, I used Beta Ray Bill. Okay, now let's look at Quest 3. I think Quest 3, I just did this like less than 12 hours ago. I think Quest 3 options was 2014, yeah. So you don't get that many options for 7 stars for the first fight for the gore. But I think the only 2 solid options here are Hulk and Juggernaut. Maybe even a ranked up Hawkeye or Black Panther. But yeah, I used Juggernaut. I just managed his regen, throwing heavies after every first special SP1 he did. And then against Dazzler, I used Arnim Zola. Fun fight. Just throw heavies, get disintegration, debuffs going. No big deal. Against Lady Deathstrike, I use Null. Null can eat up armor on his mediums. So same technique I did with Medusa. Against Enchantress, I use Photon. Photon can't miss with their mediums. So that made the fight really, really easy. Against Thor Rags, I use Medusa. Medusa has auto block. So yeah, I was using that to my advantage, just in case I got parried when I went for light intercepts. Fun fight, interesting fight. Against Arcade, I used Captain Marvel. This would have been a solo, but I went for the nuke too early. I got him down to like 1%, and then he threw his SP3 and killed me. So yeah, but if you got a ranked up Hitmonkey could work good in this fight as well, or even a ranked up Angela. Really, all of these are solid options. If you use Silk, just don't spam heavies like we normally do when we run Silk, because of this node right here. That node right there. Otherwise, you're gonna get faltered. So, also, Arcade's using stun effects. So yeah, so everybody but Silk is probably good options here. Against the leader, I use Domino. No big deal. Against Bullseye, I use, where's she at? I use Okoye. Against Torch, I used Luke Cage. That was a fun fight. Against Serpent, I used Onslaught. The reason why I use Onslaught instead of any of these other Mystic options you see right here is because I didn't have a lot of options for Thanos. I looked ahead, and so I decided to run with another champion. Hint, 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 hint. Oh, I'm sorry. I decided to run with another champion for the boss Thanos. So I ran with Onslaught against Serpent. Took a couple revives, no big deal. Against Spiral, I went with Shuri. Shuri can block unblockables, and Shuri also can go untouchable. So I use that to my advantage to take this Spiral down, who's pretty tricky. Against Dust, I use Shatra. As you can see, not that many options. And then against Deathless Thanos, I use my rank 4 Kushala and got the solo. So that's who I used in the Wheel of Fate. I hope this was useful. Overall, I think the content was fine. Again, take that with a grain of salt. I don't have the largest roster, but I do have some solid options in rank 2s and rank 3s. Even rank 1s. Like I said, I use Mortal. I use a couple other rank 1s. My only issue with Wheel of Fate is that the rewards were not as advertised. That's it. Because we were told that we would be able to pick one of the 12 defenders from the selector, and Torch was taken out. So I went with the Titan. I got Spider-Woman. I guess I have to put that video out first since I'm spoiling it. And yeah, other than that, I thought it was pretty cool. They said it was aspirational content. People shouldn't expect to complete it on day one. Yes, I completed it on day one. But, yeah. I hope this was useful some way, somehow. I don't know. I really got to go. And, yeah, I'll see y'all on the next one, man. Take it easy.